Okay everybody, this is CynicalDoc, and I'm bringing you my first audio commentary for WC Replays. The matchup is between myself and Sephiroth_37. I'm going to ask you to pause the game at the 1 minute mark, and once we get there we'll begin. I'm going to talk about the game just a little bit. The map is Turtle Rock, so I'm not trying to think of any two advantages or disadvantages to either race in this. It is an undead, which is myself, versus an orc. And since they got rid of the runes of healing on the turtles last patch, that made it a little bit more balanced. Basically what I'm going to be bringing to you here is an educational commentary, hopefully to try and help any undead players that have been having trouble with fast mass wyverns. Now, I'm going to admit the fact that I did know that Sephiroth would be going with the mass wyverns beforehand, but I'll show you what I do anyway. I would have known that he was doing it just by seeing his base, and it would just register what I should do from there on, because I do scout in this. So hopefully everyone is at the 1 minute mark. If not, pause the audio and get there. Okay, so let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. I do have this set to myself as the observer, I should say my view. I'm going to keep Fog of War on so that we're not going to see what Sephiroth is doing, that way you can react, or at least see what I was thinking when I could just see what my own scouts would see. Anyway, what I do versus an orc, because I feel that my strategy works best versus an orc, is the Bugmeister. And it allows a lot of adaptation, so basically it's just a ghoul strat build to begin with, and you then add in fiends and whatever you want in tier 2 and such. And you go Crypt Lord as your first hero with beetles. And if you don't know, it's actually a strat guide that was written up by Valander for me, and there's a bunch of audios in there by him as well. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just taking my first ghoul once he is done harvesting enough lumber so I can put up my Tomb of Relics, and I go and look for him. Now what I do is I take the ghoul in, I run around the base of Sephiroth a little bit, and I see that he's putting up an early, or he's got that Voodoo Lounge, and he doesn't have a barracks yet. Now, when I see an orc player that doesn't have a barracks, or even a barracks building, I think immediately mass wyverns, and he's going fast wyverns. So, yeah, by the way, I'm mass spamming D as a joke here because of what Don Ware says in his audios. He's like, oh, you know, got the RT people that spam D, and it doesn't do anything, which is true. But I did it just for the hell of it. I was surprised to see that Sephiroth went with the Blade Master here. Most people will go with a Farseer and harass the Acolytes and such, and then get a Shadow Hunter second for Hex and Healing Wave. But you'll see that Sephiroth does some pretty neat things with his Blade Master here. So, I get my ghouls, and I'm going to take them, I'm going to go and start creeping now that my Crypt Lord's out. What I do here, now that I know that he's going mass wyverns, is that I'm going to throw up a second crypt, a graveyard, and start taking as soon as possible. And I'm basically only going to create enough ghouls to have about 2 or 3 on lumber, because I want to try and get up to my anti-air as soon as possible. As you guys probably know, you got a problem with the undead is that they don't have anti-air until tier 2. However, I don't go fiends, so it's going to be a little bit interesting. Here you're going to see, I believe, maybe it's not here, it might be a little bit later on, but what I'm going to do is I've got a Nerubian Tower now because I saw a Blade Master, and a single Nerubian Tower will stop Blade Master harassment easily. It doesn't work so well against the Farseer and 2 Wolves, but it helps a lot anyway. So here we have Sephiroth running in here. I have a Dust of Appearance on me, but that Blade Master is basically owning me up, so I'm going to fall back to the Nerubian Tower and try and get him trapped. So, there he goes, and he's getting slowed now, so there's really not much you can do against a Crypt Lord that's on Blight. He wind walks, so I use my Dust of Appearance, and he's going to run out of there. Dust of Appearance is something that you always want to have on hand when you're facing a Blade Master, obviously because of Windwalk, and something I buy every time I play against a Night Elf as well. So as you can see, I'm getting my Graveyard and my Halls of the Dead tech are underway. Once I get 200 gold, I will be putting up my second crypt. And I want my Crypt Lord to heal up a little bit because he did take quite a bit of damage. So I'm just going to use all my ghouls to harvest lumber. You are going to need a lot of lumber for this because it's going to be basically mass ghouls and guards. So I guess it's not all that original of a strat, but it's certainly different than the normal fiends to try and counter the wyverns, or mass fiends and statues with Death Knight Lich. I don't end up getting a second hero in this match. I usually don't versus a mass wyvern orc, mainly because the second hero dies so quickly, especially if they went Hex as their second skill. Anyways, I'm going to go out creeping a little bit more. My Cryptloid's at about half health right now. So I'm only going to take on the easy creeps, because I can't use him as a tank like I normally do. As you can see, my second crypt is going up right now. Let's take off the Fog of War just for a second to see what Sephiroth is doing. You can see that his Stronghold tech's almost done, and my tech is just a bit behind him, so it's not too big of a difference, because once my tech finishes, I've already got 2 crypts there and I can start pumping my gargoyles from there. Whereas he, on the other hand, once his tech finishes, has to put up 2 bestiaries, which is what the normal fast wyverns is, using 2 of them. So he has to wait for those buildings to build, but once my tech's done, I already have the units I want. I don't even have to worry about researching web because I'm not going fiends. So, and the only thing that you really have to worry about with gargoyles are basically bat riders. And bat riders can do a lot of damage to you. Oh, here you can see I was creeping, and I got creep jacked by the Blade Master, who must have been following me or something. I had a Cloak of Shadows, and that's why I said I forgot I had the cloak. I could have just hidden and saved my Cryptloid that way, instead of using a TP. So, yeah, there's some mistakes in this game by both players here. Anyway, as you can see, you've got 1 bestiary going up for Sephiroth right now, and that Pian's going to go and put up the second one. Alright, so you can put Fog of War back on. And my Halls of the Dead just finished, so I'm starting to get gargoyles now. So when you're doing this, once you get your second crypt built and you've got your graveyard and everything, stop building things and just start saving gold, because you're going to need it to pump into the gargoyles. You also want a slaughterhouse because you may need meat wagons to break into the orc base, and you can definitely use statues, obviously. I usually tech up to tier 3 quickly, too. And I didn't even notice I saw Blade Master running towards me. I am scouting with the Carrion Beetle now to see if he's got his wyverns going yet or not. But anyways, his Blade Master going to come in here and try and steal some of my experience, which I think he might have gotten it right there. And I've got my Crypt Lord telling him to go away. I got 1 charge of dust left, so I use it there, and I try to trap the Blade Master, which I think I do. Yep, he's trapped. So he's going to be forced to teleport because that dust of appearance is still going. And it doesn't look like he's going to get out of here. No, he didn't use his teleport. I forgot about that. So he does go down. He gives me level 3 right there. And something screwed up there. I think I didn't get the item. He stole the item, so I said I'd trade the item for killing his hero. Basic idea with the gargoyles. Keep them out of sight, because if the orc knows that they're coming and that you have them, they're obviously going to start putting up bat riders. Because most orcs figure that you're going to be going fiends versus wyverns, or that, you know, as he can see me right now, I've got ghouls. He has no idea what I'm doing. Since he hasn't been scouting, he has no idea I'm getting gargoyles, and therefore doesn't bother building the bat riders. And hopefully what you want to do is you want to try and take down all of his wyverns, and then the gargoyles really don't play much of a role until he starts putting up more wyverns. But once you take down all of his wyverns, if he doesn't have if you start building bat riders, you don't have to worry about wyverns anymore because he's not building them. And what you do is you keep your gargoyles spread out, so the splash damage really doesn't do much against you. The reason I am taking the tier 3 here is because I want stone form on my gargoyles, because stone form will save them from focus fire from the wyverns. It will break target lock from bat riders and such like that. So here I'm asking Sephiroth why he went with the Blade Master. And I don't remember why he said he did. Oh, because he likes him. If you saw that audio, there's a game between Cat X2 and Romanticist, and the Blade Master basically just went off and killed like everything. So here you can see he's got a couple wyverns right now as I'm moving in to try and take out his base. You send the ghouls in first with the beetles to draw the fire from the towers and the burrows that he will definitely have. And then, see, I left my guards behind here because I don't want him to know that they're there. What I'm trying to do is draw him out of his base right now. And the way I see it is, since he doesn't think that I have anything to counter his wyverns, he's going to try and come out after me. Unfortunately, I moved my gargoyles in there too soon. So I've got about, 6 of them right now? Yeah, 6 gargoyles. And 6 gargoyles can take down wyverns incredibly quickly if you micro them right. You cannot A-click move with them because of the fact that they will auto-target ground units first, as I'm sure most of you know. So what you just do is you select them and then just right-click and shift-click on the different wyverns, and then you don't have to worry about thinking about them anymore. So here I go again. I send my beetles and ghouls along my Crypt Lords straight after the burrows and the towers, and I send my gargoyles after the wyverns. So the towers and the burrows aren't going to go after my gargoyles unless they get microed against them, which doesn't usually happen. So those, I think I just took down 4 Wind Riders with 6 gargoyles, and I just lost 1 gargoyle to a Bat Rider there, and that was it. So you see, I took down one of the burrows, and my Crypt Lord's getting quite a beating right now. He does have a potion of healing on him, and right now we do have a couple Bat Riders in the air. Huh, I can't believe I forgot that statue there. That's not a good idea. Anyways, my Crypt Lord gets hexed, so I ended up using my potion, even though I didn't really want to. I have another gargoyle in the air right now, and I'm still being chased by that Shadow Hunter and the Blade Master. And Sephiroth picks up a Naga Sea Witch as his 3rd hero, so I figure I can try and do some damage to that Blade Master, chase him away with the gargoyles, and he's going to run back, and I'm just going to go back heal and keep the pressure on, because the main thing with this is once he knows you got the gargoyles, you have to keep the pressure on or you're going to get screwed by Bat Riders. Because if you can't get that many Bat Riders up into the air, you should be fine, because the statues can negate the splash damage. And if you can keep them spread out, because if there's no wyverns around, then you should do fine as well. So, the Crypt Lord's a good hero for this strategy because he can take a lot of punishment, especially with his armor. Like, I'm only level 3 right now. I did go level 2 beetles, because the level 2 beetles will drop fire from towers, the heroes, and such like that. And then the Crypt Lord has a ton of hit points, so basically you want to have him with a statue, and also have a potion of healing on him at all times. So, I think I'm going to be going back after him real quick here. If you take off Fog of War and look at Sephiroth, he is out creeping right now. And all he has is 1 Wyvern and 1 Bat Rider, because it's an incredibly expensive strat. I believe those Wind Riders are quite a bit more expensive than the Gargoyles are. So losing a Gargoyle, which is only 2 food to begin with anyway, doesn't really matter that much compared to losing a Wind Rider for the Orc player. So you can put Fog of War back on. And as you can see, I'm heading to the center of the map right now. I'm going to kind of group up and then just head straight on. If the Orc player teched up to tier 3 and gets the fortified towers, that's when you want to try and get meat wagons in here. Meat wagons really don't mean too much against non-fortified bases like the burrows and the towers. They don't do that much damage. You'd be better off just sending your ghouls and beetles after it. Anyway, I run in here. Go for the buildings that are in building right now because they take extra damage. So, right now I've got a couple of the gargoyles being focused on by the burrows, so I'm going to pull them back and get the burrows to change target, because the gargoyles do take extra damage from them. So I go straight for the watchtower. Now, I know he's going to have Bat Riders in here, and I bring in the gargoyles, and I stone form all of them, and I bring one of them out of stone form, because I see that the wyverns are going after my ground units first. So I take out those Bat Riders that are in the air, unstone form the gargoyles, and then send them after the wyverns. And wyverns do not stand up against that many gargoyles at all, and they just drop like flies. So basically right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and clean up the base, and my Crypt Lord keeps getting hexed, so he's getting annoyed right now. I did buy an extra Dust of Appearance, so I can see that Blade Master is right next to me, and he uses a TP to try and get away. He's going to end up teleporting up near his Voodoo Launch? Oh, maybe not. But he manages to get that Blade Master away, because he does do Windwalk again. I can still see him for a little bit, but I can't see him anymore. I took out that Naga Sea Witch because the cold arrows were driving me nuts. Now, I see that the Blade Master is still hidden, so I use my other Dust of Appearance, and I try to chase after him. And that didn't work so well, because I ended up, he's a little bit too fast for me. Now, I saw a unit come out of the bestiary and fly away. I didn't know if it was a bat or a wyvern, so what I do, if you watch my gargoyles following the Blade Master, is I'm going to take them and turn them into stone form. And once I do that, if it were a Bat Rider, which it ends up not being, it would have broken the target lock and the Bat Rider would have stopped. So if Sephiroth weren't paying attention and it was a Bat Rider, it would just kind of be sitting there in the middle of nowhere and wouldn't be doing any damage to me. So basically what you want to do here is while you're cleaning up the base, go straight for the burrows first. I'm trying to take out PNs, I'm not quite sure why. I think I might have wanted corpses for more beetles. But I do go after that burrow. See now, that level 4 Crypt Lord with the level 2 Carapace, he has 8 armor right now, and that burrow can't do anything to him. Especially with 2 statues there. So I bring in the gargoyles again now, and go after that burrow. So once that burrow goes down, that's basically the end of Sephiroth, because he's got 10 food from the fortress, and he's got nothing else that will provide him food. He's got a couple of Wind Riders, which is what I thought Bat Riders were when they came out of the bestiary. So I took them down right away with the gargoyles. As you can see, he's trying to build another Wind Rider from his bestiary, but he just doesn't have enough food to be able to do that. So I focus on the 2 heroes and take both of them down, and now it's just a cleanup and a little bit of a chat between the 2 of us. Like I said, Sephiroth says that he didn't say that this didn't work because of the fact that I knew what he was going to do, but like I said earlier, if you scout out an enemy player or an enemy orc and you see that he has no barracks, you can basically guarantee that he's going for fast wyverns, and you start your tech, and then you put up your graveyard and the second crypt and just save up your money for the gargoyles. And to be honest with you, I have not lost doing this yet, although I haven't faced too many fast wyvern orcs anymore. The only other thing that they might be doing if they don't have a barracks, and it's highly doubtful, but I have seen it before, is that they may be going for a tower rush against you, especially if they're putting up an early war mill. So be sure to check around your base as well. So, like I said, basically, fiends don't work that well against this because of the poison, and they're incredibly hard to micro, because first you gotta web the units down, then you gotta find them and focus on them, and lots of times they'll get screwed because like the web will wear off, so their target changes, and they don't want to attack units that are webbed. Plus Hex means you can't coil them if you went Death Knight, and the such. And they're also 3 food, and they're also more expensive than gargoyles. Well, here you can get all the gargoyles that you want or need, and then just go crazy on the wyverns, because the wyverns are more food, they're more expensive. And granted, they do piercing damage against the unarmored gargoyles, but gargoyles have 3 armor, which is decent enough, and they do a lot of damage very quickly to the wyverns. So I hope you guys enjoyed my first audio commentary. I believe I'll be bringing another one out soon. I'm not quite sure when, but keep an eye out for that, and if you have any suggestions or requests, give me a PM.